All the disrespect before you play back, button check. Button check.
What is up, Blood Check family? Welcome back to yet again a beautiful day. The weekend is here. We done made it. 4th of July. Happy 4th, by the way. Now, I'm not sure if I'm gonna post this on the 4th or Sunday. I'm filming this on the 4th of July, but I gotta go be with the family today. So hope you guys are having a good time and don't blow your damn selves up, you know what I'm saying? But this has always been one of my favorite holidays and times of the year. But you know what? It is too damn hot here in Texas. Either way, man, have a good time. And I know you're noticing there's something different. I have a new setup thanks to a new sponsor, but this video is not about that. We'll talk about that later. So this is just a new angle I'm working with. I just trying to do a little something a little swagged out. I still got the old setup. It's right behind me right there. So just some new options. Let me know how you're feeling it. But either way, man, we got some hot buttons. Definitely got to unpack. Without further ado, let's get them. Let's go. And all right, first up for that, EVO continues to cannibalize FGC Events buttons that need to be checked, and that's straight out of the mouth of Sajam himself. He posted this video just yesterday breaking it down. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've already covered this topic. I've covered it on Frame Trap, the second channel as well, with me and Dirty Low, and I feel like it's getting even deeper. Now, obviously, we knew there was gonna be some strings attached and different points of views. Hell, it was just announced, but nobody's even seen the contract yet, because you're supposed to apply for this, like TOs in need of some funding. But I don't think it's actually available yet, because when I went to the site myself, I think it was still like a work in progress, and you can contact them if you want some more information. So some people are waiting to see what the fine print is. Other people are excited. They're like, we can't wait to be a part of this movement. Well, Sajam right here, before we get into his video, link down below, by the way, he posted this tweet right here. Let me go ahead and click on this thing. It says, it seems like it was lost in the news over the weekend, even though it was announced on the EVO stage. But EVO Singapore has absorbed the TWT finals, and they take place the same weekend / venue. I would guess this is their goal for all the tours eventually. And then he put these screenshots right here. You can see Tekken World Tour, Singapore, 14th through the 17th, Marina Bay Sands, Singapore. The Tekken World Tour Global Finals arrives Singapore, and you see at EVO. Beneath that, it says the crowd will roar, and the entire weekend will be a celebration of Tekken and the community. Then they post this right here, EVO Singapore. Now, I think that's why there's some concern for that, because people feel like, well, how is the whole weekend going to be a celebration of Tekken if it's at an EVO, which celebrates all the games? Like, you know, before it was a dedicated event, now you're putting it inside of an EVO, and I think that's why a lot of people are showing concern, like you're just swallowing up everything. But anyway, let's get deeper. So other people are saying, no shit. This is a response to what Sajam just said. No shit, it's their goal to take over majors. It's their goal to take over locals. It's their goal to take over competitive fighting games as a whole. Y'all addicted fucks are quite literally handing over what little control you have left. Pin this shit and revisit it in a year. Damn, this man going in, ain't he? But Sajam responded to that right here saying, you're telling the wrong person. That has about 271 likes. And obviously Sajam is saying that because he's like, if you've been keeping up with what I've been saying, I'm for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking a stand against it. Hell, Sajam's not even going to EVO anymore because of this exact reason. So that's why Sajam responds saying, brother, you're preaching to the choir. All right, going deeper right here. Speed Kicks right here saying fighting games are just esports enough to be useful and just poverty enough to be monopolized with ease. I hear Roman Jelly says, I've been privileged enough to go to 2 TWT finals, and the atmosphere is like nothing else. At big tournaments, your game is among many. At a tour final, everyone there plays your game. It's a love letter to the community. My brain understands the decision to merge. My heart aches. When the event is just Tekken, it's a gigantic family reunion. It's impossible not to run into people you played online and make those connections. At Combo Breaker CEO EVO, you still have that opportunity, but it's very easy to get lost in the crowd. At least we have Oktoberfest, question mark. Then beneath that, continuing on, some just saying sad. Then what else we got? Honestly, I find it a bit weird to have the tour final during another open bracket. EVO clearly wants to absorb everything. I don't think that's a good deal. Then what else we got? My first EVO was back in 2007. I'm old. Outside of 2 years, I haven't missed Vegas since 2009. Now my favorite game is held in an event that I used to cherish. This timeline hurts. Everybody's looking at me like, what's the big deal? And I'm tired of explaining it. Support your local events. It's imperative more than ever to make sure we keep control of what's prestigious in our communities. Then I think we got this shit is whack. And then wrapping it up with this one, it really feels like Tekken devs don't really care about the game/community anymore. Ever since Harada and Natsuki departed, it feels like they don't want to deal with the TWT stuff anymore, and they're leaving it for the EVO people. The vibes just kind of feel like ass. I don't know. Then going deeper right here, the owner, I actually think it's the manager. Yeah, we got the co-founder of Texas Showdown by the name of Javi. I actually met Javi before Button Check started. I was just doing like FGC comedy sketches. Man, this was back in like 2016, maybe something like that. I was at a convention and I believe it was in Fort Worth. Either way, he happened to be there. We chopped it up for a brief second. We really didn't talk too much, but I haven't seen him since. Javi posted this right here saying, y'all have short memories. Capcom Pro Tour 2015 was a part of the PlayStation experience in Street Fighter that year. I don't think it's that much different. I'm willing to bet that TWT will be the marquee event at EVO Singapore. How y'all feeling about that? So he's like, it's kind of been done before at the PlayStation experience back in 2015, and I bet that they actually do TWT right. It's gonna be a marquee event at EVO Singapore. Now beneath that, Sajam actually responds to that, saying, I wouldn't call it short memories, an event that happened 11 years ago, but I'm aware since I was there in person. It was held at PSX a few times, but I think the comparison here is slightly different personally. Javi responds again saying, I think in the end, it's just a marriage of convenience for both entities, especially since TWT is usually held at that time of year. I noticed somebody beneath that, they said, was Texas Showdown also bought out? Even sadder to do this for free. Javi responds saying, no. Javi simply responds saying no, I guess not trying to get into all of that. But I think at one time, Texas Showdown was on the CPT. It was a major. I'm not sure when it stopped being one or if they have plans, down the road to continue that. But as of right now, from what I could tell, it's not on the CPT anymore. So not sure that direction, but how do you guys feel about that viewpoint that he made? But with all that in mind, Capcom Fighters literally just posted this the other day on the official account talking about the collaboration kicks off in the Battle Hub today. For a limited time, the Battle Hub has been transformed with a special EWC theme. After the Last Chance qualifier concludes on July 27th, the Champion Prediction event will begin. Join the event and earn exclusive player titles. You see right here, ESPORTS World Cup, Street Fighter 6. Now we already knew this was a thing. EVO's a thing. I mean, it's here to stay for now. And the reason why I purposely said it like that is because a lot of people are already thinking, well, there's a good chance that they are gonna leave eventually. Maybe not this year or next year, but we've seen them do it to other sports. So why wouldn't they do it to the FGC? Sajam kind of touches that on this video. Then I learned even more information. Check out the clip.
I think it was great. Fernman tweeted, and I quote, maybe I'm a little woke, but anybody else think their font is a little racies. And now it's gone. The poster is legitimately gone. You may notice there's a little crossover here at the Marina Bay Sands, which is also where EVO Singapore is, January 14th to the 17th. The Tekken World Tour and EVO Singapore are the same weekend in Singapore together at the same location. I don't know how else to tell you this, but if you don't think this fucking sucks, then I don't think you and I are on the same page. The Tekken World Tour finals are now EVO Singapore. Because you're like, I don't care who bought EVO or whatever. Like, I still got all my games and stuff. And then they're like, don't worry, we'll be at your local soon. And also, we're going to take over the TWT finals. And that's going to be rad. And yeah, I mean, everything about this is poop from a butt, I think. It's not great. I haven't seen like a single other person talk about this. I don't know if it's because everybody is just not paying attention or if everybody who works there just doesn't want to say it sucks. Because let's be honest. Even if you work for EVO and you think EVO's rad, how is this good for if you're a Tekken fan? It makes your event feel like it doesn't matter. Your Tekken World Tour, the culmination of the year, you don't even have your own weekend for how rad your game is everybody just like, I get to work 2 jobs at once. I get to go work EVO Singapore and the Tekken World Tour finals. Smile. This kind of stuff is just going to keep happening. This is just them making stuff worse because they can, because they own everything. I mean, what happens when they just move EVO Japan to like the same weekend as Capcom Cup? They just, no. And then they just move EVO Vegas to New York and just put that shit over Arc World Tour final. I don't know. They just, they just eat up all the tours and put them in the same weekend. So EVO is the most important thing that matters at all times. I mean, if it's not clear the objective here, I don't know what to tell you. They are trying to eat up your locals. They're eating up the TWT finals. They're going to eat up finals for all your favorite games. And then everything will point to EWC, because who cares about EVO when you can just point everybody to EWC?
All right, so there you have it, man. Sajam has always been very vocal about this whole situation from the beginning. I tried to bring up the point the other day saying that, offering these locals money, I was like, you got to understand also, it's not just the West. It's not just one opinion in this. I know everybody's very strong when it comes to certain beliefs, certain morals. But there's a lot of people out there that consider all this movement a blessing. It's so much bigger than just us. There's also a lot of people out there, when you consider the FGC as a whole, think about all the pro players, think about all the big commentators. Like I said in the other video, 99.9% is on board with this. They all took it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so the fight to let's fight against this or let's do this, it's not there to the point where it's going to fight back in a way to where people start boycotting or anything like that. If anything, you're seeing the majority of the community on board. Now, I know the voices online are very loud. It's social media. That's obviously the way it is. But let's look at the reality. Let's look at all the numbers in EVO Japan. Let's look at 9 EVOs starting next year. The numbers are growing. So obviously there's so much more. There's so many other voices in this community that are on board. If you're upset with this, 100% you have the right, like I said, to be upset with this. But the machine, same thing like Sajam said, is gonna keep moving. Yes, they're probably gonna keep growing and maybe they start combining more events, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing, but it's gonna happen. A lot of people were comparing it to I think it's called Live Golf. The Saudi Golf League, they came in and created this with some pros. They put millions, if not billions of dollars in this thing, and then they dipped. Starting sometime this year, they are officially out of golf. They're not gonna support it financially, which leaves Live Golf in shambles. They're trying to restructure it. I guess the new owners, they cannot continue the way they're going. So a lot of people are looking at that well, look at what they did to that. They came in, they put in millions, if not billions of dollars, and then a couple years later, they bounced.
The Saudis announced publicly they were going to cease funding Live Golf by the end of the year. Their total losses on the whole thing, $5.3 billion. A big chunk of that had gone directly to the key players they were trying to bring over. 1.36 billion of that 5 billion had been in prizes and that sort of thing. Another billion plus had gone directly in bonuses to folks like Phil Mickelson to come over to the new upstart league. He's now making the types of corporate announcements about strategic pivots and strategic investors, which is basically code for we are in trouble and we got to figure out what we're going to do to try to survive.
The problem is the PGA Tour is a lot stronger than they thought. They pushed back. So it was a lot of boycotting people. As soon as some of the pro players went to Live Golf, they got banned. Then you got those pro players that sued the PGA Tour.
11 Live golfers sued the PGA Tour for antitrust violations. The PGA Tour, they turned right around and they went and sued not the Live Corporation, they went and sued the Saudis personally. In the hearings, a judge rules that the PIF, basically the name of the fund from the Saudis, has to open up its books and its records, meaning they weren't going to be able to hide and obfuscate things in the upcoming trials and hearings.
But here's the big difference. Throughout that process, the PGA Tour got even stronger, so they weren't interested at all in anything Saudi had to say. Saudi then said they're backing out financially, I guess, from golf altogether.
While the Live Tour had put together a number of the players and got them to defect, the PGA Tour still had the most important thing, which was the big events themselves. It was like a couple of teams had left, but the PGA Tour still controlled the Super Bowl.
The huge difference is, think about it like this. They're coming in with the big dogs, NBA, NFL. Everything else, they're pretty much succeeding in when it comes to MMA or boxing. They got people on the inside that are rocking with them. The scary thing here is, if you're looking at it like it's a scary thing, the FGC esports have no big dogs to fight against. They could come in here and take over, and they already have. If you look it up right now, they are the biggest entity in esports. there's no big power, there's no big entity in gaming to fight back or to take them to court. Moreover, that actually wants to fight against them or take them to court. The big powers so far in esports have been like, yes, please, more please, I'll take a second helping. Like, everybody has been on board, just like with the FGC, just like in shooters and all this. Esports World Cup, the EWC, is headed to be the biggest thing. That's why they're talking all this big talk about we're gonna have esports city. They're talking about building a whole city dedicated to esports, which is insane, but I think that's probably the biggest reason why they're talking and moving so big, is because there is nobody else here to force them out like there was in these other big sports. There's no competition. All they're finding is like they're finding the same success in some MMA and boxing as well. They're finding a lot of people that are willing to work with them. And with gaming, they finally found something like, yo, we can actually control all of this. If they end up leaving, I don't think it's gonna be because they were forced out like they were with golf. I think it's because they wake up one day and just like all these other orgs that we've seen, I mean, esports has been around for a while, right? The earliest memory I have of some esports is maybe 2015 or 16. And since then, we've seen a million orgs come and go because it looks like they just go bankrupt or realize there's not as much money as they thought. So I think that's the fear. Saudi, if they end up backing out from this whole big ass deal, it's not gonna be because they're forced out. It's gonna be because one day they wake up and they say, all right, we got 9 EVOs, the locals and all this other stuff, and we own this, this, and this. We are esports. How much money did we make? How much did we make? Was that just for you or all of us? That was just for the secretary. That was just for the secretary. That's what you're saying. That was for, wait, that's for all of us? Nah, we dumping that shit. Dump that off, sell it, make an announcement, and then we gonna be out in about a year. Make that announcement. I think that's more realistic. Like, real talk, it's business at the end of the day. But once again, 99.9% of everybody, pro players, TOs, commentators are on board with this. So if this bubble pops, they are going to be devastated because their livelihood has to reset. They have to figure out where their next check's coming from, the pro tour, all the money that's been sunk into this thing. They have to start from scratch and figure out, shit, can I even game full time anymore? It was always like, you know, FGC was considered poverty. That was always the tone, and people like accepted it. And we were like, nah, we're grassroots. That's what's up. We real, we street, you know? I never in a million years would have guessed that this would be the state in the direction that the FGC was headed in. But once again, some people see it as a blessing. How do y'all see it? Let me know. There it is one more time, Butt Check family. Appreciate the massive love, man. I'm enjoying the new setup. I'll talk this maybe later in the week or something like that. But once again, it's not permanent. I still have all my posters and stuff right there on the side. So I'm just doing this for today. But either way, hope you're having a happy 4th of July. I will see you soon. And as always, I don't know what it is, but I know somehow, some way, it will get better. It's about to get better. Love y'all forever. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.